A long time ago in episode Heresy, there was a Titan build utilising Danger Zone and Blastwave Striders to become a walking nuke. Times have changed since then, allowing for something similar but better. We've got the best legendary rocket so far in Haliaetus, and a armor set effect Aion Adapter based around resisting self-explosion damage, so that Danger Zone now isn't even a requirement. So what is actually happening here between all the explosions and grapples? The quick breakdown for this is the following. The exotic Blastwave Striders heavily reduce explosive self-damage so that we don't perish immediately, and also charge a meter on final blows, which when full will release a bunch of stasis crystals on next slide or explosive self-damage. When this happens, you are also granted max stacks of frost armor. Grapple is very important. Not only is it a great movement, damage, or both of the above option, but with Thread of Ascent it will also allow grapple usage to auto-reload your equipped weapon. Rocket spamming is great, and it's even better when you find ways to dodge manual reloads. Thread of Ascent will be the best option to do this. Haliaetus returns ability energy on hit due to its origin trait Braid Legacy, with this ability energy going to the one closest to a full charge. Strand Melee has multiple charges, so it won't go here often, and the class ability is hardly used, which ends up being it will refund your grapple. Using cluster bombs will increase the hits per rocket fired substantially, so that each rocket can return full ability energy. Pair this with bipod and it all but ensures full ability refresh per need to reload, as well as improving rocket ammo economy and working around the short cooldown Thread of Ascent has built in. So that's the main thing, but there's a lot more going on to make this a complete build. I do want to say though, for full transparency, this is not really something you're going to see in the next day 1 dungeon or raid. This isn't a oh my god meta build, while this destroys the endgame, it fouls your attacks as it deals 10 quintillion billion DPS per second. No, none of that. It is in fact just very fun, but still completely viable in most content regardless. Alephanim has a hidden synergy with Blastwave Striders. Typically final blows are required to charge them up, but each vestige created will also charge the stasis crystal effect too. 10 vestiges are required for this, which is very quick to build up if you fire the Alephanim at a boss or champion tier enemy. In fact, it charges so quickly that there is in fact a self-contained loop you can do against a single high tier enemy for quite solid 0 ammo used DPS. 2 Alephanim shots, then grapple to auto-load the third Alephanim shot, fire this, and by that point you will have full Blastwave stacks. So slide into an enemy to release stasis crystals for heavy damage, and then just repeat. Remember that Alephanim itself can also generate ammo from collecting vestiges, so you won't have to do this too long before you can refund yourself some rockets. Also, the stasis crystals generated from blast waves can be a bit wild at times, with a very widespread radius, but this can become much more manageable. If you notice you are at max stacks, slide into a powered or unpowered melee, and all crystals will pile up directly at that point, directly on top of the enemy. This can flat out one-shot champions, and deal heavy damage to boss targets. Do remember that at the same time this happens, you will be granted max stacks of frost armor for survivability. To double down on survivability, Strand Titan is just the best kit all round. Banner of War needs no explanation, it's passive healing over time as long as you get a melee kill at some point. Into the Fray and Thread of Warding will provide Woven Mail upon destroying a Tangle or collecting an Orb of Power respectively. Having both Woven and Frost Armor at the same time, as well as the healing from Banner of War, make this a very tanky setup. With bipod, Haliaetus has 16 ammo in reserves, which is great for rocket ammo economy, but there's more you can do to always have ammo without being too overly reliant on Alephanim. Relevant mods for this include Heavy Ammo Finder on the helmet. These are extremely potent and ammo gen scalar, so stack with everything else. 2 of these should be used. Strand Ammo Generation on the chest piece. This just increases the ammo generation stat to any final blows. Not quite as good as a scalar, but worth running one copy of. Strand Ammo Scavenger on boots. This increases the amount of rockets you get per brick, and is an absolute must. It allows for 3 rockets to be found per smaller brick, like those generated by Alephanim, and 5 rockets per natural heavy brick. In the gameplay, I don't do this as much as I typically would do, because I just wanted to show off a rocket spam more, but Strand supercharges very quickly and is also very potent for a roaming option. This can be pretty much popped on cooldown and returned within less than a minute. Flexible between boss DPS or ad clear. Against a single target, follow the rotation of 2 light attacks, 1 heavy, and then repeat 3 lights into heavy for the remainder of the super. Remaining build options, I use these. Thread of Generation, as this will generate grenade energy on any damage, so even if not utilising the Haliaetus tech, you can loop grapples relatively frequently. Thread of Fury is a similar idea but for charged melees. This time enemies need to be damaged by tangles to return energy. Since tangles are already utilised a lot for Into the Fray, which also returns melee energy, both of these combined will allow for a lot of energy, which is even more important than just the fact it's nice to have extra abilities, as having multiple melee charges stacked up ensure all Haliaetus returns go into grapple. As a second 2-piece armor set effect, Smoke Jumper is probably the best, as collecting an Orb of Power will grant damage resist for 3 seconds, but this isn't really that critical, and the energy weapon slot is still open. If I was to recommend one thing here, it would be Returned Memory, the solar rocket sidearm with heal clip and redirection. But this can be anything really, it's likely going to end up being an anti-champion slot like Overload SMG. Finally, Artifact. There's some here which make a huge difference. Tangled Web will suspend any enemies near a tangle when it's generated. Plenty of tangles will lead to plenty of suspense. Shield Crush grants increased melee stat and damage while you have either Woven Mail or Frost Armor. This damage boost will apply to grapple melee too. Elemental Coalescence will allow for final blows to generate tangles, even if no strand debuffs are present, great for enabling Tangled Web even more. Since Blastwave Striders grant Frost Armor, Frost Renewal can be utilised too, so if you do get to critical health, nearby enemies will be frozen. The activation of this will also refresh Frost Armor's duration. One with Frost also has the requirement of Frost Armor, and while you do have it, stasis weapons, in this case Alephanim, will have increased reload speed. This is very noticeable, and great if you have to dump Alephanim shots into a single target. If you made it this far into a video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you have not yet. I know Destiny's not in its best state at this current time, but I don't really want to spread any further negativity, so we'll see what I can find in-game which can still be enjoyable for those still playing. If you want to see more build videos like this, which are a little bit more direct in what they do and the gameplay tech involved, let me know too. Thank you for watching.